I think you'll find, sir, that there will come a time when black people wake up and become intellectually independent enough to think for themselves, as other humans are intellectually independent enough to think for themselves. Then the black man will think like a black man, and he will feel for other black people. And this new thinking and feeling will cause black people to stick together. And then at that point, you'll have a situation where when you attack one black man, you are attacking all black men. And this type of black thinking will cause all black people to stick together. And this type of thinking also will bring an end to the brutality inflicted upon black people by white people. And it is the only thing that will bring an end to it. No federal court, state court, or city court will bring an end to it. It's something that the black man has to bring an end to himself.
Dear America, ain't it funny how time flies? From the age of discovery to political recovery to a Western world filled by the seal of lies. I sat at my desk, wondering what makes the world go round, wondering if the wicked conjuring of a medieval world will forever hold the black pearl down. What happened to the black shrine? How did the black Madonna become lost in time? She stares at herself in the mirror, clueless as to what happened, working overtime, clocking in on the plantation, trying to make it happen. It wasn't until I was grown that I recognized something wrong was going on. I heard slavery was a thing of the past. We still sing a gospel song, still moving right along, whatever tips the master's glass. Why? Because we're in need of someone to speak to us, someone to explain the dynamics of the earth's crust, give us a closer view of the minerals, animals, and plants, show us what a right looks like, give us a government grant. So who grants the power? Generations of popes. The Catholic Church was amongst the first to invade the midnight hour, seeking rest on the other side. Wherever Ross sits, gold mines can be found in the pits. So the black man got bribed. He thought them pirates came to honor his name. They came to rearrange his tribe. The greatest untold story in history. Open letter to America. We've been sleeping on a mystery. Mystifying lies. 21 pen salute to the troops who've lost their lives. They need a book just as big as a Bible. Sensitive subject. Its goal is to Christianize the public, turn it into a crystal, mix it with spirits and spread the gospel until it's diesel. A nation filled with the word knows the secret it keeps. Those who don't know, they have become lost sheep. They find themselves dreaming of a paradise beyond the grave. Tithe 10%, attend church a little bit, preach a sermon in the pool pit, get baptized, be saved. That same song has been playing on the record for I don't know how many days. It ain't that I don't dig it, but since it's been dug from the dark soils of love, our relationship needs to be more vivid. Less artificial intel, more natural black pepper in the words we spell, or misspell. From the prefix to the root, we only get a piece of the truth. You probably thought Egypt was an ancient civilization. Be civil with your civilized imagination. Imagine trying to imagine an incorporation. First you would need water, then land the charter, a splash of nation to work the land, human properties that understand, and you will see into the corporate system of the day and how millions of African spirits got pulled into the USA. The story of the 13 colonies, Civil War, American Revolution, Atlantic slave trade, Leo Africanus, William the Conqueror, the Ptolemies, tell you something you might didn't know about Hippocrates, Greek philosopher, writer of the Hippocratic Oath, father of Western medicine. He was hip to the science of black folks. Berbers, barbarians, Ethiopians, aboriginals, Moors, those with the Moorish symbol outside their doors. Covered by the mark of melanin, so the rebels started welling in, establishing states with Jewish men. They wanted copies of the books, more to reading and writing than what it looks. What does the Middle Kingdom, the Middle Ages, the Middle Passage, and the Middle East all have in common? Hands in the black fountain, prophetic waters to summon. And that's what they all did. They all created civilization from what the planet kept hid. So-called blacks, African Americans, I feel sympathy for your pain. Stripped of your culture, robbed of your name, pulled from your native tongue, watch your dignity get slain. Yeah, you had a name. Pyramids stand in the land from which you came. Your human rights removed, forced into a pair of stormy shackled shoes, and told only to remember that heaven was for the Christ-like and Christianity was the only way to enter. And this so happens to be true, which brings me back to the crystal, speaking on why all this has happened to you. Terra Australias, extraterrestrial, Australia, E.T., Islands of Cape Verde. The map itself is TV. Those from beneath the surface, the holy land of Africa, the land of the blacks, i.e. the Holy Bible, the path to ancient artifacts, many of which have been replaced, revised, rewritten, to protect the serpent from being bitten, to become consciously aware, to become crystallized. Who makes it into the gates, the masters of fate decide. So the black man got bribed. He thought them pirates came to honor his name. They came to rearrange his tribe, to change out the laws originally carried by the states. A state of the mind, a state versus maritime, a law of admiralty, a law that says whatever I find in the water is mine. Here's a ticket into SeaWorld. See how it all worked out. SeaWorld? What got the world all worked out? Birth certificate, social security card, social security system, a ship, a vessel, a doctor, same system. Signing over the merch, millions of black babies sold into the church. To the bankers, crying out for freedom. America won't let go of their ankles, because in 1933, United States went bankrupt. Black persons were pledged as collateral, get paddled or pay up. Orders via captains of the ship, those were the doctor's orders. They set up the charters, monitor the birth canal, strictly business trips, international affairs, many meetings of the United Nations, still no address for the black nation's smoke flares. All those who lit the flares were seen as harmful agents of the light, whereas they were being light beacons by right. It is a black man's natural right to shine. Reason being, his skin is of a dark skin. Under his skin is home to earth, rivers, thunder, mountains, wood, fire, wind. When he discovers this, his pain and suffering will be no more. What looked like the fiery pits of hell was God's celestial shore. And all that it contains has been righteously ordained to reserve the law. This is how the ancient Egyptians were able to observe and draw. Or as Christians would have you see it, to become Christ-like. Europeans term the meaning, its true definition is seeming, its artificial character is demon, not the image, the essence, not your typical Sunday school lesson. For years I sat at my desk, wonder what makes the world go round, wondering if the wicked conjuring of a medieval world will forever hold the black pearl down. She's so quiet as kept, he's so quiet in his step, exhausted from the hypnosis, too hip to notice, so they've slept. And America's gotten rich, and the black box has kept a tab, light manifesto, treatise on the Negro, whatever the archaeologists can grab. Look at where you're at, in a position where you can't explain it, driving while it's dark and raining. How do the oppressed do that? They manage until they can get black thinking to work to their advantage. The slave master doesn't want slavery to bend, he wants it to stand 10. So stand at attention, be more than an honorable mention. It is your culture, your blood that has drawn us all to think. The Lord's Supper is supper time. Take your place at the table, have a drink. You are not what the world has told you you are. No, 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 not by far. You are a holy people from beneath the waters of planet Earth. Africa is where your mother gave birth. Every contraction helped shape its form. Water molecules split and you were born. Your father spoke you a knowledge to use. You grew into it wonderfully, even the wonders have been amused. Makers of the muses, guardians of the matter, guardians of the gods. You don't seem to be flattered. So I wrote you a letter, and I sat, and an instrumental came out of the hat. Take it and make it better. Made into the natural, actually made into actual. Now look at what's become of your tribes. Pharaohs begging for bread, battling with the pride. Mama a mathematician, she stuck with a 9 to 5. So you got to learn how to drive, how to read between the lines. Watch the windshield, watch close when approaching signs. Be careful how you cross lanes. Hope she ain't contemplating suicide. America, you stole something, and Africa wants it back. Not another Black History Month, not a Voters' Right Act stunt. She's tried that. You owe her. Mary was made in her image. You act as if you don't know her. Every pope has played the role of her father. The Queen of England signed the charter. Bankers put a price on her head, extracted her resources, threw away the corpses, left her offspring for dead. I was happy to hear they are alive and well, living in America's backyard, reading and writing, speaking English, catching up on the trail. Africans are not illiterate. Africa, you can restore your throne. The roots have to be toned a little bit. You owe her. Quit sending signals about the feel of freedom and show her. Instead of offering a modest life or the means of oppression, give her a life of free will through the means of auto-suggestion, not your auto-impression. Bring on the reparations. Who's going to negotiate? ADL, United States? Who wants to set the record straight? How did black persons become the property of a corporation? All they've done is cooperate. Corporate America has used the science of corporation to reiterate, retail, copy, reprogram the hard drive. America's program is war and commerce. R.I.P. to the black soldiers who've lost their lives. From the age of discovery to political recovery to a Western world filled by the seal of lies. Think about it. What great treasure it is when men don't think. History has a history and its heritage has a link. I sat at my desk, wonder what makes the world go round. Open letter to America, Poetic X the poster carrier. Take one and pass it down.